Adi, I keep seeing these dramatic paintings of Antony and Cleopatra, like her holding him as he dies, or tragic and romantic. But was it really that dramatic? Or is that just Hollywood?
Oh, it was dramatic, but not in the way movies show. The real story is messier and, honestly, way more political. Here's the wild part. Their whole downfall wasn't just about love, it was a PR war. Octavian, who'd later become Augustus, basically destroyed Antony by convincing Rome that he'd been emasculated by Cleopatra. The Romans were horrified. Imagine soldiers gossiping that their general was taking orders from a foreign queen and her eunuchs. It was scandalous.
Wait, so people actually believed Antony was, like, under Cleopatra's spell?
Totally. There's even this famous poem by Horace mocking the idea of Roman soldiers carrying mosquito nets for Cleopatra. Like, real men should just get bitten. The message was, Antony's gone soft, he's not Roman anymore. Cleopatra was painted as this evil, seductive queen, the total opposite of Antony's Roman wife, Octavia.
That's so harsh. But didn't Antony try to fight back against all that gossip?
He did. There's a letter where Antony basically says, "Oh, so I'm the bad guy for sleeping with Cleopatra. Like you, Octavian, are some kind of saint." He lists off all the women Octavian's been with, calling out the double standard. But Octavian's propaganda machine was just too strong.
So, was there a moment when things really turned against Antony and Cleopatra?
Absolutely. The big turning point was the donations of Alexandria. In 34 BCE, Antony and Cleopatra held this flashy ceremony in Egypt. They sat on golden thrones with their kids, handed out kingdoms like party favors, and called Cleopatra Queen of Kings. To Romans, that was outrageous. Antony was giving away Roman land to a foreign queen and her children, and then he put Cleopatra's face on Roman coins. That was like waving a red flag.
I can see why Rome freaked out. But was any of this actually illegal?
Some of it, yeah, but mostly it just looked un-Roman. Octavian used it all as ammo. He even got his hands on Antony's will, probably illegally, and published it. The will supposedly said Antony wanted to move the center of Roman power to Egypt. That was all Octavian needed to get the Senate to declare war, not on Antony, but on Cleopatra. He wanted it to look like Rome versus a foreign threat, not another civil war.
That's sneaky. So, did everyone in Rome just go along with Octavian?
Not at first. Tons of senators and both consuls actually left Rome to join Antony. But Octavian was relentless. He nominated new consuls, kept hammering the foreign queen angle, and made sure the war was about defending Rome's values. It's classic political spin.
Sounds a lot like modern smear campaigns. Politicians still do this, turning personal stuff into national crises.
Exactly. It's the same playbook. Demonize your opponent, make it about us versus them. And it worked. When the final showdown came at Actium in 31 BCE, Octavian had a slight edge in ships and troops, but the real advantage was public opinion. Cleopatra's presence in the battle was seen as a distraction, even a curse.
What actually happened at Actium? Was it a huge battle?
It was, but the details are fuzzy. Basically, Cleopatra's fleet broke away and escaped. Antony followed her, and their forces just collapsed. Octavian's side spun it as a heroic Roman victory over barbaric outsiders. The poet Virgil even wrote about it. Augustus leading the pure Romans, Antony with his Egyptian wife and barbaric wealth. It was all about framing.
So, after they lost, did Antony and Cleopatra really die together?
Kind of. They fled to Egypt. Cleopatra locked herself in her mausoleum and sent word to Antony that she was dead. He tried to kill himself, botched it, and was carried to her. She and her women hauled him up with ropes. Super dramatic, but also kind of tragic and messy. He died in her arms, and she was devastated.
And Cleopatra? And Cleopatra? Did she really use a snake?
That's the legend. She wanted to die as a queen, not as a prisoner. She kept asps, Egyptian cobras, ready and supposedly tested them on people to see how they killed. The bite was said to cause a sleepy numbness, not a violent death. She made sure Octavian couldn't parade her through Rome as a trophy.
It's wild how much of this was about image and propaganda. Like, Octavian basically won the war of public opinion before the real battle even happened.
Totally. And that's what's so relevant today. We still see leaders using personal scandals, smear tactics, and us versus them narratives to win support. The facts get twisted, and whoever controls the story usually wins.
So, is that why Cleopatra's always the evil seductress in movies? Because Octavian's side wrote the history?
Exactly. The winners wrote the story, and they made sure Cleopatra was remembered as a dangerous outsider, not a powerful ruler. It's a reminder. Whenever we see a public figure demonized, we should ask who benefits from this story.
I never thought about how much our view of history is shaped by propaganda. It's like we're still fighting the same battles, just with different faces and hashtags.
That's the lesson. The tools change, scrolling Twitter instead of reading poems. But the strategy's the same. If we know how these stories get spun, we're less likely to fall for them. History doesn't repeat, but it sure rhymes.
So next time I see a scandal blowing up online, I remember Antony and Cleopatra and wonder who's really pulling the strings.
Exactly. The past isn't just old news, it's the playbook for today. And knowing that, that's real power.
That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.